Okay, y'all. I am back. I apologize for my absence. I had to handle some personal issues, some health issues or whatever. Nothing super like scary or drastic. Nothing to be concerned about. No thoughts and prayers needed. I appreciate you if you do decide to send those my way, but it's nothing like super crazy. But I did have to handle some business basically. So that's why I've been gone for basically the whole beginning half of the month. Unfortunately, I did not plan on being gone this long. um you know I think I was really in a nice rhythm. I'm kind of a rhythm shooter when it comes to this YouTube shit. The more videos that I do, I feel like the better I get as the month goes on. And then, I like to get my shots up. So my fault, y'all. I apologize. I appreciate y'all for not like mass unfollowing and all the things that the early YouTubers had to deal with if they were gone for a week or two. They come back and their channel's absolutely in the shitter. I mean, this video might not perform that well because I was absent, but I don't care. It's time to start getting shots back up. Okay. And thank you. Thank you for watching. I usually say it at the end, but thank you for watching. Um, Hopefully you guys missed me, even the haters, because I missed all y'all. And hopefully I don't have to take a long break like that again. At least once a week should be the minimum, no matter what I got going on. But the circumstances that I was under, I literally couldn't make a video. But here we are. Here we are, and we're going to talk about. So originally this was just going to be Almighty Suspect versus Brandon part, 100 or whatever part it would be, because they have a cartoon as beef from like, it's like Tom and Jerry, those classic cartoons where oh, the rabbit got the gun, now the wolf got it, now, oh, like that whole thing. Crazy dynamic. Perfect like beef, honestly. The perfect differences in characters to make for good drama, like Batman versus the Joker type of drama. But the thing about Brandon is he goes at everybody. He has literally got into it verbally with everybody at No Jumper. Even Flacco, we've seen them have some tension here and there. Not as crazy. He respects Flacco enough to not really take it there with them, but he's got into arguments with everybody all the way from the top at Adam, all the way down to the guys making the thumbnails and the flyers, Nathan and Steven, right? The people on the boards. Josh. I don't know if he's argued with Donnie, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has. So he has verbal smoke for any and everybody, regardless if he is right or wrong. And his most recent victim, or at least he thought would be the victim, was Tam. The thing is, Tam actually is going to flip the table on him and ends up exposing and bodying him all in like 3 minutes. It's beautiful. We're going to get to that. What leads to this is Brandon called in after Almighty Suspect, fresh out of court Almighty Suspect, as he is unfortunately looking at some possible prison time, he was saying, or like guaranteed prison time. It's just a matter of how much time is what he's trying to, shave some years off of that sentence that is looming. So, prayers up for Suspect. Hopefully, he gets the shortest time in prison as possible so he could be there for his family. But Brandon, of course, he hates Almighty Suspect with a burning passion. And so as soon as he tunes in and hears, some bad news for Suspect, he's blowing up Lush's phone as soon as Lush and Suspect are done talking. Okay. So when I tuned in about 26 minutes late, which is usually on time for a No Jumper show. However, they started on time. So I tuned in thinking, is Suspect calling from jail right now? But it was too long of a conversation. Then I went back and watched, and it's, oh, okay. So he just got out of court. There's like a video of him in a blue suit in the car getting driven around or whatever after the court appearance or whatever it's called. So, that's how this all starts. But it's really a beautiful progression that we're going to go through. So We're gonna watch Suspect talk about the legal troubles real quick. Then we're going to get into Tam versus Brandon, where again Brandon is about to get exposed and bodied by Tam. Let's get into it.
This is just this case, nigga. We're not even talking about the other one, but I think I could beat that one. So that's why I'm not really talking about the other one, because I'm fighting that right now, and I think I could beat it. You feel me? Because it's really bullshit. I didn't do nothing. So I think if I could beat the other one, we could get it lower to like 4-3 years, and that's cool. I'll take like 2. I'm not really tripping. But like, you feel me? 6 with 85% because I got these strikes. That's tough.
Trumped up charges, to say the least. Like, clearly they're like,
buddy.
do you feel like, hey, let me ask you a difficult question, bro. Do you feel like due to the fact that you have a celebrity status in LA and influence and are affiliated with No Jumper, which has been entangled with a lot of, controversy, do you feel like that's weighed in on the way you're being treated in this scenario?
I don't think so, because the DA hasn't mentioned that. The DA ain't mentioned nothing, and usually they would have brought that up, like, oh, he be wild on the internet. Now, the DA hasn't mentioned, the DA don't know nothing about Almighty Suspect, thank God. The DA ain't mentioned nothing about none of that shit. So, no, it's really just nigga, they think that I've been charged with like 3 gun charges, but they all got dropped. They all got dropped and they all got DA rejects. So they're like, this man keep holding guns, and he keep getting off scot-free, like, we finally got him, so we finna rail him.
Okay. Well, it seems like there is some hope here. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's not completely as dismal as people. Because when we saw that initial story, like, all of us were kind of like, fuck. Like, fools didn't know if you went in today. Like,
nigga, that wasn't supposed to happen today. I ain't gonna lie. She went in there and fought for me today. That wasn't supposed to happen. I was supposed to sign for the 6th, and then I was supposed to come back for sentencing after the other case finishes.
Yeah, that's why, like, we would have had our letters together. Me, Adam, Josh, everybody been talking about. There's a lot of people that'll write letters on your behalf, and like, that have done this before and things like. But I had no clue that this was such a timely situation. Like, I knew it was gonna be.
It's urgent, nigga. It's urgent. My next court case is the 30th, so they still trying to wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to somebody's jail though. Like, there's pretty much no way around that. You feel me? I'm definitely going to somebody's prison. Right now, we're just debating on how long. You feel me? The DA wants to give me 6. You feel me? But we're fighting for midterm, like 4, and if we can get the strikes took off 2. But it's not really looking likely with the strikes, so I'm probably just gonna have to take 4. But that's hopeful. We're gonna see. It's either 6 or 4 right now.
Is there a timeline as far?
All right, so as y'all heard there, basically, Suspect's legal troubles come down to some things that he did a few years back. 3 or 4 years ago, he got in trouble with some weapons instances, and basically every time he does go to jail or goes to court, the courts can't really get anything to stick, so it's almost like they have one out for him. Which I was thinking about his legal situation, because he's been kind of talking about it leading up to this call-in that he just did. And I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I feel like they just are trying to get something to stick on him at this point, because it's like, we know you be doing shit, but we can't prove it necessarily. So it's like pissing them off. But or no, he did shit. I don't know what he be doing, but it seems like they really want to get him for something. They want anything to stick at this point. And it's really unfortunate that he has to keep on, using so much energy and time on legal troubles and, guaranteed prison time, just a matter of trying to shave down some. It's an unfortunate situation for a young father to be in. It seems to me like Suspect is learning and growing from his mistakes. I don't know him personally, but it does seem like that. Even his style as a podcaster, he's learning from those mistakes and from the criticisms from channels like mine, and just self-evaluating as well. Seems like he has a decent level of self-awareness, But I say that to say, as far as for No Jumper purposes, it's kind of unfortunate if Suspect does have to, leave for some time, because I feel like they did have something brewing that I did enjoy. And it's not going to be a most popular take, but I feel like the dynamic between Suspect, Lush, Munchie B, and I would say sometimes Aunt Hefe, and then sometimes you could mix in somebody else. But that's a nice podcast dynamic. We've seen about two of that lineup, I think, in the last like week or two, and it's been a nice dynamic. Enjoyable potting, some good potting going on. I think those people, there's a lot of range. It's kind of like a street team. It reminds me a little bit of the Thursday show, even though I don't think they've done a Thursday show in particular, but it reminds me of the Thursday show when it was Brick Baby, Suspect, and Lush as the main Thursday show people. Then sometimes there's a fourth mic, sometimes there's not. But yeah, it's unfortunate that as soon as some momentum gets going on the podcast end, that boom, this happens, because this stuff is people's livelihood in a lot of ways. But speaking of people's livelihood, so Brandon, he's been on this hater campaign because in a lot of ways he's talking for his life at this point, for his livelihood. He was mad. He was going at Ricky. He's saying Ricky doesn't deserve as many hours. You got Ricky on the platform all the time. Now Ricky's pretty much missing in action. We don't know where the hell Ricky's been at as far as no jumper terms. Now, when I went and pulled this image that's on the screen right here, I did get a Ricky update accidentally, and Ricky's actually been churning out podcasts. He's literally been churning butter. No, he's churning out podcast episodes about sports betting. And you guys know I do plan on making a Just Sports, some Just Sports content down the line here. But Ricky's out here just straight up handicapping. He's telling you who to bet on Prize Picks or some shit. He's trying to get that brand deal ASAP. So shout out to Ricky, I guess. But that's what he's been doing and getting out these little adult league like soccer highlights. So I don't know. Maybe Ricky's prioritizing peace and happiness over working at No Jumper, even though this No Jumper is probably the least drama-filled No Jumper in about 8 years. I could be a little wrong on the math there, but something like that, ballpark type shit. But anyways, a little Ricky update aside. Excuse me, Brandon versus Tam Burger. Okay, Brandon versus Tam. Brandon's about to get bodied by not a singing person. I don't think Tam sings, but just by like a regular corporate type of teacher, decent job type of black woman. Just a average American black woman is basically how I look at Tam, right? Could be your mom's friend, the auntie at the birthday party. Just like, all respect to Tam, all respect to the black women out there, coming from me. Now, Brandon's about to highly disrespect her for, honestly, damn near no reason other than, being jealous that she's getting some shine, that the fans don't hate her. So maybe he's trying to get fans to hate her, but he doesn't realize he doesn't really have enough fans to sway the masses like that. I don't know. But Brandon decided to hop on his IG story and type some crazy shit up about Tam. And I guess he added everybody into the post so people actually saw it. And Tam didn't like it. She's been mad all week. I watched her on DeJohn Paul's podcast with Rich Trapper and Ash Bash. And Tam is visibly upset, rightfully so. And then it's going to carry over to No Jumper in the call-in show, right? So Brandon spam calls in, kind of, forces Lush to pick up the phone after calling enough times. And it was a mistake on Brandon's end because he's about to get exposed right here in this clip that we're about to play right now.
We decided to call back, huh?
Well, despite the chats urging us to,
you got one person in the chat repeatedly posting the same thing. Stop, Lush. Those tricks don't work anymore. Hey man, let's just be real. I'm the only true antagonist at No Jumper.
Then show up.
One who consistently speaks the truth. Suspect is a bum. He needs to really get about 30 years in prison because he seems absolutely elated that he's going for 6. He's like excited about it. Give that man what he want and let him go get his horrific.
Why are you happy about like a black family being torn apart?
He's happy about it. That guy sounds like he's in a celebratory state about
going to jail. And yeah, I'm not this and that. He's not learning the main lesson.
It's crazy. Like these are those tactics that really get under people's skin. That Brandon, he's attempting to master these tactics for some odd reason. We just saw the first clip that I played in this video is suspect explaining how they're doing everything to get as few years as possible, but there's no way he's not going to get, 0 years in prison. He has to go to prison. That's what his lawyer team is telling him. So they're fighting to lower the years as much as possible. Side note, speaking of suspects, lawyer team, the world famous Rosenberg, Lush's cousin or, frat bro in another universe, he was fired by Almighty Suspect for showing up to court drunk. I'm sure he's always lit, but he was too lit, and Suspect had to fire him, and now he has a different legal team. But yeah, it's just disgusting how Brandon tries to spin the narrative. Like, I'm playing this in chronological order, y'all. The call that we started this video off with took place 2 minutes before Brandon calls in and tries to misrepresent what we just all saw. He's just disrespecting everybody at this point.
So
wait, let me say
I
this.
feel like whatever situation it was old.
Yeah, but beyond sus, I want to talk about this Tam shit because you came at Tam.
He ducking and dodging. Bro. He pivoting already.
Tam is just a bad winch, bro. Like, if you ever been in pro-black space, you've dealt with a lot of people like Tam. They celebrate Pookie and Ray Ray and Thugs and Degenerates. Any black man who they feel like black men who aren't degenerate are a threat to them.
You for sure fucked more white girls and bunny hops significantly more than Tam's even considered fucking with a white dude. I put money on that.
Telling Lush if you've ever been in a pro-black space is crazy. Lush probably has been in the damn pro-black space the way he acts. Damn, I don't know. I can't even say that word. So Brandon's gonna take things back to the 1950s with his entire rhetoric and the shit he's talking about. So it's like a foreign language to me. But real quick, speaking of language, I just want to read the Google AI overview of what a bedwench is. Okay, so I don't condone calling Tam this. Or any other black woman, by the way. YouTube, okay? Now, this Brandon guy, he condones that, but I don't support that message at all. I think it's highly disrespectful, and if somebody called one of my loved ones that, I'm gonna have to see you outside about that. But the term bedwench is a derogatory and offensive slur with both historical and modern usages. Historical usage, this is important. In historical context, a bedwench was a low-status concubine, often a slave or a captive. If specifically, excuse my blackness on that word, evokes the sexual, it specifically evokes the sexual exploitation of enslaved black women by white men, the term was used to dehumanize and belittle these women, portraying them as complicit rather than victims of sexual violence. Okay? So that is highly, highly, highly offensive. And I see why Tam is, upset for the entire week. She's been mad all week about this, rightfully so. Modern usage, real quick, okay? In modern African-American vernacular, the term is used as a slur for a black woman who dates white people, accusing her of seeking privileges. I don't even know who modernly is using this term other than Brandon. This is some ignorant ass shit to be calling other people. Now, I hate to say it, but it kind of reminds me of like church culture in a way, or maybe even Southern culture, where it's like, why are we all in each other's business so much? Yes, as I make a video talking about other people, I know. But why are we all in so much of other people's business as far as sex lives to where we got terms like, oh, look at that bed wench over there. Like, that's fucking crazy. Now, I don't know or care what Tam's dating preferences are, but if she wants to date the whitest man on earth, then that is her prerogative. That's her right. She has the right to pursue happiness and love and all that stuff. Just like anybody else, I don't think that should be made fun of or shamed. You know what I'm saying? If you're not out here trying to push sexuality on children, I don't give a fuck what your sexuality is. Do you? Just don't push it on the kids. That's kind of my only stance on that type of shit. Because what you do on your own time is your own business. If it's not harming, you know, others, who gives a damn? But you know, Brandon, he cares. He's that annoying guy at the church that's all up in everybody's business type shit. I'm not even gonna read the rest, but basically it's a racist term, and you know, it's a weaponized term and demeans black women and criticizes their romantic choices, which I don't fuck with that. So yeah, just got to speak out against, you know, Tam being called that so publicly. And you know, I don't know Brandon like that, but just from kind of watching him for the last few months, his jealousy is starting to get the best of him right now. He's gone on multiple downward spirals, obviously, as this channel has you know, chronicled. But his jealousy is getting the best of him, and this is what I mean by this. So everybody knows that Poetic Flacco individually is the most successful No Jumper, you know, personality, co-host, character, whatever, on his own entertainment endeavors. His YouTube channel is more successful than anybody's rap career that's on there, than anybody's YouTube channel that's on there. And, you know, hate or love the guy, his YouTube success can be seen as a source of inspiration in a way, right? Can't knock that. The channel's big. It's growing still. You know, congratulations on the success. Tam spawned in. Now Flacco, I think he said that he spawned into No Jumper with like 20,000 subs, 30,000 subs, something like that, right? So around the Young Ant Hefe, Munchie B, before they clapped Munchie's channel range of subscribers. And I think even Suspect, but Suspect kind of been at what he was at before they took his shit. But anyways, Tam spawned in with pretty much 90,000 subscribers, okay? So all she has to do is start making some hot topic videos for like 3 months, and she's gonna get a plaque. So she's already at where a lot of people are aspiring to be, where it's like niggas got 5-year plans to be where Tam's YouTube channel is already at. So I think there's some jealousy there, where it's like Tam is set up to actually be a superstar. I've been really watching all the pods that she's been on, including, like I said, on Day in LA podcast. And she's very knowledgeable on pretty much any topic that comes up. Literally any topic. She has knowledgeable, good takes on them. You know, her voice is a little, the way she talks and the expressions. I think the fan base is going to grow tired of her at some point. That won't take very long, because she has some interesting mannerisms and ways of speaking. However, it doesn't really matter, because her fan base is going to grow to where she's not going to have to be, you know, begging Adam for a pay raise, because her YouTube is going to probably double within the next year. And that's if she's not like grinding out daily content. If she grinds daily content, it's out of here. She's going to catch up to Flacco's sub count in a year. If she's lazy, quote unquote lazy, and just knocks out like a video a week, I think she'll still be at like 150,000 by not by the end of the year, but within a year. Yeah.
I had one.
You said you had a bunny hopping past in high
Yo.
school.
He had one white girlfriend. I've never had no white
slaying
romantic
them.
partner.
Yeah, but here's the most important thing. I have a black wife and a black family. But the thing I'm telling you is, you deal with people like that in the pro-black space, so it's just par for the course. I met Tam. I was totally nice to her, gave her flowers. People were like, oh, she's a black queen. Soon as she got in mixed company, soon as I wasn't there, she started bashing me with everybody else, which is totally fine. But just don't pretend like you were ever real or genuine. I came trying to be nice about it. But as soon as she was like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm getting a little traction, which I'm happy for her. I don't think she has really a point to make, but I'm happy for her just being like the hype man on No Jumper. It's cool with me. I don't care. As far as Moose Man, I told you, they pay me, I'll be there to debate you.
Mixed company is diabolical. Brandon. This we are not in the segregation era. The majority of people do not want to go back to the segregation era. I know you rock with that shit. I know you claim to love segregation. I don't get it. Later on in this expose, they end up saying like, oh, Brandon's so happy to live in a white community now. He's happy that he's making the money to live in a white community. If, if we didn't mix culturally, if we stayed with the segregation rules, you wouldn't be allowed to live in the white community ever. It wouldn't even be a dream of yours to live in the white community because it wouldn't be allowed. It wouldn't be possible, no matter what you did, no matter what you achieved. On top of that, you are begging to work on a platform that is mixed company. No Jumper is kind of, super diverse as far as the different ethnic groups in different walks of life that are allowed to have a voice up there, that are allowed to, to exercise their free speech rights and monetize their free speech rights. It doesn't. You're just a walking contradiction. You're against race mixing, yet everything that you do is mixed race. No, I don't get it, man.
You get paid what you're worth, bro.
I don't fear you.
It's a free market. It's a free market. You get paid what you're worth.
The premise of the argument is just their arguments.
Yeah, you should be thanking me instead of insulting me, honestly.
Thank you.
Because Lush is the only one that still likes you, bro. No cap.
But listen, I have nothing personal against anybody at No Jumper. I talk and message with Adam all the time. Lush, I text you and talk shit to you behind the scenes. It's simply a monetary issue. I'm a greedy capitalist bastard, and I want to get paid more money.
Then why keep calling in every episode? Why you keep calling?
For free.
Why talk about me for free? Hey, look, you guys are still cool with me. So if you say something, I'll call into. And really, I was calling.
Yeah, nobody talked about you, so you started blowing Lush up.
Really
to be fair,
into troll Almighty, man. I was calling to troll Almighty, but you guys have so much to say.
But do you think anybody cares about you trolling Almighty? Because nobody does, bro. I promise you.
Your story post about Tam last night was like doing 20 much players.
Yeah, because he's saying she trashed him. All she did was disagree with him. He can't handle people disagreeing with him.
She told her daddy on me. Brandon is hurting my feelings. She didn't tell him the whole story, which is crazy.
And this right here is where he messed up. Tam is about to. I didn't see this one coming. She threw a left hook out of nowhere, and it's a knockout punch right here.
Wish he would have called
I posted the text if you could read. You never hurt my feelings.
I would have told him the whole story, and then he would have been maybe like, "Yang, I kind of get that, bro."
My dad watches the show. What about your dad? What's going on with your dad? Is he alive?
My dad's in prison. I talk to him every day.
That explains a lot about your attitude.
Yeah, yikes. That's true. That's true.
Shout out to the Lush One ad lib with the yikes, because yikes is right. She came in choosing violence. That's a crazy question. What about your dad? Is he alive? That alludes to fatherless activities, that you're moving like a fatherless individual, the type of individual that you like to chastise and call degenerates, supposedly. Lots of contradiction with this guy, man. I could probably make 10 videos tonight about all the contradictions that I missed in the last week or two. But then we find out, no, his dad is not deceased. He's just in prison. So Brandon, it could be marketed as a noble cause. This guy speaks out against, street culture, against gangbanging. He dropped his flag and started denouncing gaming. On paper, Brandon sounds amazing, right? But in reality, when you really watch the content, when you really watch how he maneuvers, when he pulled up to a retired professional fighter, professional coach, War Chief's house to run a friendly fade, he then threatens to draw down and Swiss cheese the place for whatever reason. When you see how Brandon actually moves, it's crazy. It's actually disgusting how he moves. And then, this recent outburst of him wanting to call in to hip hip hooray, almighty suspects going to prison. Like, you're celebrating that. That's disgusting. He was the main one in the chat talking about why you got your kid on the show, you know, trying to call in and talk shit about him having his kid on the show and this and that. He's had his kid on the show before, way before all this. And, you know, shit, he couldn't find a babysitter. He wants to still get his money. He had to bring his kid up there. Everybody was respectful enough to not light up no weed or no cigarettes or nothing like that. They weren't smoking and drinking in front of her. They're just potting. And it was 2 good episodes, actually, even with the little kid, you know, doing little kid stuff and kind of, you know, babbling and interrupting here and there. Still was 2 solid podcasts, honestly. But yeah, trying to shit on somebody for being a present father, you're projecting. That at the end of the day, that's a memory that little girl can go and pull up those episodes where she was sitting on her dad's lap as a young kid and be like, wow, my dad had me on one of the biggest platforms in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, since I was a kid, Prodigy type shit, or you know, whatever. That's a cool memory for a father and daughter at the end of the day. That you're on a big platform and your dad is one of the stars of the show. So, you know, shout out to present fatherhood. But yeah, it does make a lot of sense why Brandon wants to, you know, supposedly keep people off the streets. It feels like it's disingenuous. Every time he's doing these things, it's more so that he can verbally attack people than it is that he actually cares about helping and saving people. Because, you know, I feel like if Brandon really cared about that stuff, he would probably be doing, and you know, maybe he does do stuff in his community, you know, like outreach events and things of that nature, where he's really, you know, boots on the ground with the at-risk youth, like the things that Munchie B does with the youth in his community, and you know, older members are known to do in the LA area, where they go and do gang prevention with the youth and de-escalate situations with the youth and things like that. If Brandon really cared, where's your resume when it comes to that type of stuff? When it comes to truly giving back to the community, truly being communal and, you know, helping your neighbor's child not fall into the same pitfalls and traps that you fell for. You know what I'm saying? Like where's that stuff at? That's why I say it seems disingenuous. Where's the receipts on that? I could be wrong, Brandon. I would love to be wrong on that. You know, if you could prove me wrong on that, if you're really involved in your community and doing stuff like that, you know, more power to you. But it just seems like you're attacking so-called street culture as a way to antagonize people and get your viral moments, more so than actually caring about about people not being behind bars. Because if you did really care, I don't think you'd be laughing at Almighty Suspect going through what he's going through. Regardless if it's self-imposed or not, it's still unfortunate.
But my dad is in prison, and that's why I see the value of steering black men away from prison.
Right, so then we shouldn't celebrate suspects having to go to
Exactly,
prison.
because you're living the
Suspect
effects
wants
of
to
your
go
dad
to-
being in
Suspect
prison.
wants to go to prison. Suspect wants to go to
Wants
prison.
is
Trash,
crazy.
trash individual.
Ain't no
That
way
don't
I'm
sound
two
like he want
kids
to go
in
to
the
prison
face
to me.
every
That
day
nigga want to
and
be
do
around
stupid
his
stuff
kids.
put him-
I know we could barely hear it, but shout out to Creep saying what's real. I think Creep, he might be a rising star in the making type of thing at No Jumper as he continues to come out of his shell a little bit and get on the right cast where he can get his shit off, you know? But what he said was, shit, from what we just heard on the phone call, seems like he wants to be around his kids, which, you know, again, Brandon was trying to antagonize him for being around his kid as much as possible before the court appearance. He was just trying to maximize his time because he could have gotten locked up. Yesterday? He could have gotten locked up on Thursday. Luckily for Suspect, he's not locked up yet, and he gets to spend a couple more months around his kids. But that's, you know, it's still just not enough. That's not enough time. My heart really breaks for bro. As a father myself, I can't imagine what it must feel like to know that for the next, possible 6 years, that's 6 birthdays you're missing and all types of other milestones, not just birthdays, but just all types of memories. You know what I'm saying? You come out When you come home, even with some time served and, whatever good behavior, however all that shit works, let's say it's 3 years, 4 years, you come home, that might be a whole nother person now from when you left. It's really sad. It's really heartbreaking. And so many of our families go through it. Brandon's family is going through it. Brandon knows what it feels like to have to grow up without a parent because of a mistake that the parent made. So I don't think he should be antagonizing suspect. But, and I'm going to end it on this. At the end of the day, Brandon is still mad about that spit. He immediately denied that the spit landed on him, but if the spit didn't land on you, I don't think you'd be this mad still at suspect. I don't think you would have this much hatred for suspect. But yeah, so the spit, I think that shit keeps him up at night. I think it keeps him up at night. I'm not going to lie. Because it's not like when Flacco got spat on and then 16 shot him, goes back to Chicago and he's doing his shit all the way over there. You don't have to, be at the same building as this guy. Yes, they're not the same building at the same time, but you guys have mutual friends, mutual not appliance, whatever that shit's called. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all got mutual people where people are like, oh, did you hear what suspect said yesterday when you're walking into the office? But even worse now, suspect basically has the hours that you were asking for. Suspect been on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay? So suspect's getting more hours, you're not. And he's spit in your face. And you couldn't do shit about it because there's a security guard in between y'all. And you had to walk out with your back sweating and with spit on your face. You know what I'm saying? And you still haven't been able to do nothing about it. So that would keep anybody up at night. And I think it's been keeping Brandon awake at night. I think that's where a lot of this energy is coming from, is the resentment of, kind of getting super violated and not being allowed to do anything in retaliation. So his retaliation so far has been trying to, all the verbal stuff. When suspect first went to jail recently, Brandon was the main one leading the charge on the PC rumors and things of that nature. But yeah, man, this has been another episode of Just Clips 1 or on Just Clips. I don't know how I be saying the one. I have to put that in the app, but y'all know me as Just Clips. Thank you for watching. Sub up. I promise I will not be gone for this amount of time again. And yeah. We're just going to keep on grinding. Close to daily content. Not quite daily content, but close. I try my best. And I truly do appreciate each and every one of y'all that have made it to the end of this video. Leave a like. Drop a comment, even if you're disagreeing with me, if you hate me, whatever. You could express that in the comments, too. I fuck with free speech at the end of the day. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.